I had my first job when I was 12 years old. And so starting at 12 years old, maybe a little bit later, I started making money. And one of the things that my parents constantly drilled into me through my teens and my 20s and my 30s even is save your money. Now, I didn't really understand what it means to save money through my 20s. I totally didn't understand it. In my 30s, I finally figured out this system that completely opened my eyes on what it actually means to save money and how to do it properly. And so in this episode, I want to talk about how to actually manage your money and save your money through your 20s. What's up, everybody? I'm TK, and you are watching another Unstoppable Sunday. Unstoppable Sundays are about two things, and it's all about living a more proactive life. The way we live a more proactive life is we spend Unstoppable Sundays asking these two things. Number one, where am I? And number two, what do I do next? When we're growing our careers, particularly through our 20s, the one metric that we tend to use is, am I making more money consistently? I figured out fairly well into my 20s is no matter how much more money I made, it would never be enough unless I really figured out a way to save and invest in the right way and grow my money without spending my time. And so it wasn't until my 30s did I really come across a system that helped me manage my money effectively and save and invest effectively. There are tons of videos out there on how to invest. This is not an investment strategies video. It's a brass tacks, how do you actually set up a money system so you save easily video. Now, I tried the more obvious things when it came down to saving money. Through my 20s, I thought that just discipline and spending less was the way to saving money. Before I discovered the system, I thought saving money was just about putting it in your 401k plan and having a savings account. And before I discovered this system, I thought that saving money and having more financial independence was just about making more money. It turns out none of those were true. And for me, I like to live a proactive life. And I know that in order to have the ability to have a proactive life, you need to have some financial independence. You can't just rent out all of your time on earning money, because then you can't be proactive. You're having others dictate how to spend your time so you can get the money, and then you're in a weird hamster wheel of life, which I also wrote about, also blogged about. And so it was when I discovered this system that I finally figured out that I was doing it all wrong through my 20s. And it wasn't until my 30s when a friend told me, hey, how many bank accounts do you have? And I said, what do you mean? I have a checking account and a savings account. And I try to move stuff to my savings account whenever I get a chance. And that's when my eyes completely opened, because I was doing it completely wrong. You see, most people, if you think about it, and I bet you're in this space too, most people earn money and then they put it in this one checking account. And then they try and save a little bit on this savings account. And then they pay all of their bills, and then they spend money and have fun and buy a car and buy groceries and all of that. This is how most people operate their finances. This is how I did it through my 20s, and I earned quite a bit in my 20s. And what my friend asked me is, did you know that you can have multiple checking accounts, multiple savings accounts? And yeah, there's a nominal fee, but there's really no limit. You could have 100 of them. It wouldn't matter. You'd have to rationalize it a little bit if you have 100. That's weird. And so that's what opened my eyes, and that's when I had my aha moment. And when I Googled it, there were tons of systems like this. There's the bucket system. There are books about it, but they don't really teach you this in grade school, and no one else really teaches you this. Instead of just having this one checking account that you just work out of, you create a system of accounts. You create buckets. And so you get your money, and then it goes into this one checking account. And I had some specific goals. I wanted to save a certain amount for different goals that I had financially. And so what you do is you set up other accounts. So you have one for investments, you have one for savings, you have one for fun and spending, and you can even have one for travel, because I want to go on trips. And so what you do is, instead of just having one bank account that you work out of, you set up 5 accounts. One checking, one savings, one for travel, one for investments, and then one for fun and spending. And the way it works is every time you get paid, you pay yourself first. You transfer a certain amount automatically every month right after your paycheck into each of these accounts. And then you pay your bills. So you can pay your bills right out of this checking account. And then you pay out all of these accounts also simultaneously. And then every month you just work out of this fund and spending account. And if you're out of money there, you should stop spending money. And if there's an emergency, you have your savings account. And when it's time to take that trip, you can take money out of your travel account. And every few months, you can look at your investment account and move that money to your investments. This is super simple. I bet most people don't even realize, I didn't realize you could just have multiple bank accounts. And there's something special about this. Because it's all separate bank accounts and you don't have direct access to it, discipline comes automatically. Discipline is built into the system. And the system says, I'm gonna pay myself first, then I'm gonna pay my bills, and then I'm gonna put myself on a budget, and it's all confined into these separate bucket accounts or separate bank accounts, whatever you wanna call them. This simple method actually completely transformed how I think about saving money and investing money in my 20s and in my 30s. Just saving and having the discipline and spending less is not enough either, because you can then not actually get ahead on your financial goals, like investing. And so I always tell people to think about this system. It's super easy. It's super easy to go to a bank and set up multiple accounts and set up automatic transfers. I think that if you want to live a proactive life, you've got to get financial independence. In order to be able to do whatever you want and be proactive, you have to get financial independence. And if you want to do that, figuring out a system like this so you can manage your money is super, super important. So I'd love to hear from you. How do you manage your money? Do you have any tricks that you came across? Do you use this system? Comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And for those of you that enjoy these videos, hit the like button. And most importantly, if you are interested in living a more proactive life, be sure to download our life strategy guide, because everybody needs a strategy, but yours needs to be unstoppable. I'll see you next Sunday.